Spurs fans, we started off so good in the fall of 2024, and then 2025 hit, and I don't know what happened. What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Hey, TJF, hope you're having a great weekend, and hopefully this all-star break fixes whatever is wrong with our Spurs. I want to talk about something that's been coming up on the channel. So it's a different type of video. A few viewers, just a few, have been saying, hey man, you're so negative when all the content on this channel is negative. And I kind of look at the last few videos and yes, they have been more, negative than positive. I'll concede that. Not so much in the live streams. I'm the Spurs fan that's going to be in there in the fourth quarter when we're down by 20 with 5 minutes left. I'm like, don't give up. We can still come back. And then when they wave the white flag and bring, the garbage time crew, if you will, that's when I say, all right, well, I guess it's over now. So I always try to stay positive there. And usually with the videos too, but I think the negativity is coming from, right now, it's a reflection of the team. There are good things to talk about, don't get me wrong. I love the progression of Stephon Castle, probably going to be Rookie of the Year, and I'm so excited to see what he can bring to our Spurs franchise, Area 51, over the next decade plus. But I realize I talk about him a ton in the live streams and not so much a lot in regular videos. So maybe that's why I haven't covered him there. There's a De'Aaron Fox trade, which was an absolute home run, but we did a live on that and a video on it, so there's really not much more to cover on that. The Wemby, of course, Defensive Player of the Year, but if I do a video on Wemby, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. And then our billion draft picks, we've covered that 1,000 times too. So there's a lot of good out there, but it's been covered to death on the channel. The new stuff, the negative stuff, is because our Spurs have changed in the last, 6-7 weeks? I mean, look at our Spurs. Take a step back. Since beating the Denver Nuggets in overtime, which was an absolute monster win, and I thought, my goodness, was it in overtime or did we lose in overtime? Since, whenever after that Denver win, by the way, at that time, I believe Wemby was in MVP discussion. Well, I know he was in MVP discussion. I don't know how high he got up on the ladder, 5 or 6, somewhere around there. I checked the current MVP ladder, and he's not even in the top 10. And the reason he's not in the top 10 now is the Spurs are 5-13 in 2025. And you might say, TSR, man, you're overreacting as usual. 5-13 ain't that bad. That's better than last season. Is it? Because I did some math. Math was mathing. 5-13 is about a 28% win percentage. Guess what, guys? 22-60 is about a 27% win percentage. That means right now, in 2025, since that win against Denver, they're pretty much playing as bad as they did the last 2 seasons. And for me, I'm sorry, that is unacceptable. There's way too much talent on this team for us to be as bad as we were the last 2 years. Now, there are other things that are happening when we're talking about talent. There's the very visible, and it kills me to say this, it honestly does, regression of Keldon Johnson, who was one of my favorite Spurs. I have 2 of his jerseys, but my goodness, his three-point shot is gone. He started off the year playing some better than Keldon defense at least, and now he just regressed defensively. And then there's Devin Vassell, who I thought was going to be Wemby's Robin, who we're watching just regress before our eyes. I don't know if it's the injuries. I don't know if he's pressing. He's trying to be the guy when he's not letting the offense just come to him, taking 4 shots, taking contested shots, but they have both taken a step back this season. And that is driving me crazy because if you're taking steps back, the team's going to look at you as no longer valuable and try to trade you. Of course, Keldon's trade value right now, I assume, is probably not much. And Devin's is going down as we speak. And that is just, it kills me to see the guys that I thought were going to be such cornerstones of the franchise now looking like they might not even be here next season. Don't forget, Keldon averaged over 22 points a game the year before Wemby. Then he dropped to 15 and a half-ish last season. This year he's averaging, I think, 11 and a half. He's almost averaging half the points he did 2 seasons ago. And this is a very hot subject here on this channel, and it is now spreading like wildfire throughout the NBA, community, the NBA internet, if you will. The odd lineups and rotations we're seeing on a nightly basis. National media is now calling us out, and I picked these out so we have a little something to look at too. This is from Jeff at this Air Alamo article. So not surprised Air Alamo's calling us out. They're a Spurs, website. But there's other things we're going to get to in just a moment. So Jeff at Ken's 5 had said, Mitch Johnson says they'll take the All-Star break as a chance to reevaluate lineups and see what works for, well, evaluate lineups. Maybe you should reevaluate them too. See what works for the last portion of the season. Okay. Aaron Alamo said, it sounds like lip service. You shouldn't need the All-Star break to see that Stephon Castle should be starting next to De'Aaron Fox. We knew that from the very beginning. And whether Chris Paul should start or not is a really hot subject. And, well, speaking of hot, Kevin O'Connor in NBA Analysis really took a shot at our Spurs. The Spurs lineups are a joke. After adding De'Aaron Fox, 93-year-old Chris Paul that is still starting with Stephon Castle receiving even less playing time despite outperforming CP3 by a lot. This is the choice of a team that doesn't actually want to make the playoffs a quiet tank. And I want to disagree with that statement at the end so much. I just want to throat punch him for even suggesting that. Throat punch? Yeah, sure. But I can't get mad at him because there seems to be some truth in that statement. Unless there's some analytical thing I'm missing as a couch quarterback, when I see our extremely small starting lineup, we've beaten to death, 6 foot, 6'3", 6'5", 6'6", and then Wemby scores 7-4. And then center Sohan and at times center Barnes, I'm thinking, am I missing something? Is the small ball thing really, really working that well for San Antonio and I'm just not seeing it? Because when we play teams like the Magic and they got 3 guys 6'10" or over and we got 1 guy over 6'8" on the floor and we're getting crushed on the boards. And when you do small ball, usually the thought process that you're giving up defense with the small ball lineup because you have so much offense, i.e. the Splash Brothers, you could go small because you had Steph Curry and Klay Thompson just kill on everybody from three-point land. I don't know. We don't have those snipers out there, do we? I watch every game. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's something analytically plus minus that small ball is working for us. But the eyeball test at least is telling me it's not. And they are getting criticized left and right from Aaron Alamos doing more and more articles about this. You got folks like Kevin O'Connor calling them out. And then I saw this too and I was like, oh my gosh, I went the wrong way. This is from Blue Man Hoop. This is a Golden State Warriors site. They recently did an article. Spurs have failed to come to Chris Paul realization Warriors quickly made last season. CP3 needs a demotion. They're saying Chris Paul should not be starting. This is going to only get worse as the season progresses if the Spurs keep losing games and if Stephon Castle keeps getting better, which I think he's going to. I do. There's something special with Castle. We know we have something special with Wemby. Castle might end up being the best player out of last year's draft. If he keeps balling off the bench and CP3 is out there starting, you're going to hear more and more. ESPN might even start covering our Spurs talking about this. Who knows? Probably not. They're so fixated with the Lakers and Luka and Bronny and blah, blah, blah. Lakers. No shade towards Lakers, but ESPN just loves covering the Lakers. It's the biggest team in the NBA, I get it. It's just going to get worse. We're going to hear more and more and see more and more. I'm tired of talking about it, but the lineup and rotation decisions are drawing attention because they just don't make sense to anyone except the Spurs themselves. And I'm trying to trust the process, guys. I really am. We've been trusting it for 6 years. For those of you who don't know, been on YouTube since April of 2019, and the Spurs have only been a losing team since I got on YouTube. That's streaming almost every game or tons of games. I missed a few seasons ago. Coverage all the time on a losing team, and I'm ready for it to change. And I thought this was the year. Apparently, I was wrong. I'll still be Go Spurs goes no matter what. I was Go Spurs go when we were 22-60 and 32-39 or whatever we were during the bubble stuff. But at some point, things have to change. Things have to get better, right? I guess this is not the season. If this is, again, an experimental season where the Spurs are making the realization they can't make a deep playoff run, which we know they can't. They can't. They're not an NBA championship team. So if this is just them trying things out, okay, I get it. But seriously, can you put Jeremy Sohan in a natural position? I'm really starting to feel for this guy. Point Sohan, center Sohan, minutes getting cut, minutes all over the place. Dude can't find a rhythm. If you believe this guy's a part of your future, put him at forward. Put Mamu at center, put Biyombo at center, Bassi if he's ever healthy, something, but the center Sohan, can we stop already? Circle back around to the 5-13 record. I got one off on tangent there. I believe they're so much better than this record. I do. I honestly do. We saw how well they played at the end of last season. With people out. Devin Vassell was out, Jeremy Sohan was out. And yet the team right now, compared to the end of last season, is worse. They are better than this record. I personally don't feel they're being put in the position to be better than this record. That's all I got, Spurs fans. Let me know your thoughts on everything we went over. And, oh, cheap plug, doing something different this weekend. I almost forgot. I and Miss TSR, who is, if you don't know, a huge UConn fan and now a Spurs fan as well, we're going to be live for All-Star Saturday night tomorrow night. We got Chris Paul and Victor Wembanyama in the skills challenge. Stefan Castle is in the slam dunk contest, and I'm jaded. I feel like Matt McClung's just going to, almost seems a lock he's going to win it again. Or maybe the judges will be like, we've seen you do the same thing the last 2 years. He's going to do something crazy. Castle's a powerful dunker. He's going to be creative and powerful to win the contest. We'll be rooting for him. And then the All-Star game. Wasn't planning on calling it, Spurs fans. This is Wemby's debut in the All-Star game. And you didn't know, Stefan Castle has a chance to be in the All-Star game Sunday. If his Rising Star team wins tonight, we're not covering that. We'll be watching it. And if there's anything cool that happens, maybe I'll do a short or two. But if the Rising Star team with Castle on it wins tonight, they would be part of that 4-team weird new All-Star format. And it does have me intrigued. First to 40 wins. We'll be watching it. We'll be covering it. We'll pretty much be watching it to root for Wemby. And if Castle's in there, obviously, or him as well. But either way, hopefully you can stop by. I think both the All-Star weekend or All-Star Saturday night and the All-Star game, I think both start at 8 p.m. Eastern on TNT Saturday and Sunday. So I'd love to see you in the chat, talk some Spurs, talk some Castle, talk some Wemby, and everything in between. So I appreciate you guys. I am sorry if you feel the content has been negative. I try to be I try to be an optimistic Spurs fan, especially in the live streams when we're getting killed. I really do sit there and say, we can come back, even though, hey, deep down in my mind, my Spurs mind, it says we can't come back, and my Spurs heart says, yes, we can. We can do it. And I love this team. I want to see them do well. I'm also a Giants fan, and they are a freaking disaster train wreck. And I thought the Spurs would be the first, they will be the first ones to dig themselves out of the hole. And I thought it was going to be this season. Not so much. I mean, we have more wins than the last 2 seasons, but it looks like moving forward, we might see more of this 5-13, and I hope not, because we're better than this. And you know what? I'm sure Wemby's tired of losing. We have to take. I know I'm rambling, but I love talking Spurs. You can just tell Wemby. He's tired of losing. I don't want to start a losing culture with De'Aaron Fox just joining the team. If this is indeed a soft tank or a quiet tank, De'Aaron Fox just joined the team. Is this is this how we want it to look with our first half season with him, that we're a losing team? Stefan Castle, don't we want to show him, hey, we're out there for winning? And then Wemby wants to win, man. So, no, we're not a playoff team, but we are better than 5-13. We are way better than 5-13. I'll stand by that until my little Spurs heart stops beating. We're better than a 5-13 team. That's all I got. Comment, like, subscribe. And hope to see you tomorrow night and Sunday night as well. Thank you, and as always, go Spurs go.
Go Spurs go!